Hello, everybody, and welcome to War Eagle Weekly. I am your host, Cameron. I am joined by my co-host, Josh. How you doing, Josh?
Man, I'm just happy to be here after some technical
Yeah,
difficulties.
yeah, we've had some technical difficulties tonight, but I think we got it all squared away. We're all worked out,
I think so.
ready to rock and roll. So, how about we go ahead and jump right in on this thing? Um, So we have spring practice started this week, and at the time of us recording, it actually just finished, and we are done with the first week of spring practice. But Josh, in your opinion, can Auburn's four quarterbacks can they prove themselves this spring and have at least one of them, please, step up and actually help the team out more than last year? What do you think?
Well, I really think it's going to be a good year for all four of the quarterbacks to like really show what they have.
Okay.
I don't know necessarily if one will separate themselves from QB1, which is Peyton Thorne. Hugh Freeze already come out and said it is his job to lose, but the
Oh,
competition is wide open. Spring practice, we all know it's just
did, did
it's black and white drills.
didn't that just kill you to hear him say that? Because I really thought we were going to have a true open quarterback competition. And for him to say, hey, this is Peyton's to lose, man, I was not okay with that.
I don't know if it was like disheartening or disencouraging to
Hmm.
hear that from him. I'd like to see that he is having the back of his players, like having their backs. I like seeing that from the head coach. But I mean, I would like to see someone else like at least push Peyton Thorne to be QB1, but he really does have a lot in his back pocket in terms of the competition. He was quarterback one last year. He's quarterback one going into 2024. He knows the playbook. We all know what he can do. Everyone else really is unknowns. Like I hate that we haven't seen more from Holden Garner. He
Hmm.
has the thing of two head coaches in his tenure at Auburn and not being able to crack the two deep last year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I know Hank Brown showed a lot in the limited time we got to see of
Yeah.
him in the bowl game. He does look promising, and obviously we got Walker White coming in, which is 100% a college level unknown.
Yeah.
So I mean, I do expect Peyton Thorne to hold on to QB1, but I just really hope we see a lot more from our quarterbacks this spring going into summer.
Yeah, Walker White, he's already come out and said that the competition level and that the athlete level is higher than what it was in high school
Oh
for
yeah,
him. So I really don't suspect, unless something crazy happens and he really something clicks and it's just above and beyond better than them, I don't see him taking snaps this year. I really don't. I think that they
yeah.
would go with one of the others. Yeah, before we got to that point, and hopefully we don't get to our fourth quarterback. But I man, I really that Hugh Freeze said it last year that the second year of the quarterback being in the system after transferring is the better year. But I just don't know if I saw enough from um, Thorne to really justify me being like ready to see if he takes that next step. The guy had no pressure on him going into the Maryland game. The season was over. The fans were just like, "Hey, if we win this, this is great. We want to win a bowl game." And he went out there and just laid an egg. And so, I get
Yeah.
back. Can he prove himself? Can he get better? Yeah, I mean we got weapons around him. Cam Coleman. You just hear nothing but great things from
The
everybody.
dude is a monster. Have you seen the video of him running his drills?
Yeah, yeah.
He
He's
is
gotten
like
bigger.
8 feet
He's
taller than any other receiver on the team.
Yeah, yeah, he's gotten bigger, and so we're getting some talent around him because I mean, when he had an NFL quality receiver there at Michigan State, he looked,
He tore it
he
up.
looked good. I wouldn't say he tore it up. I mean, but he was very,
Well,
very serviceable.
he did better than he did at
Well,
Auburn.
yeah, it's hard not to do
So
better.
in my eyes, that's tearing it up.
So, so I mean, can he prove? Can he prove himself? Yeah, yeah, he can. Um, I don't know about Holden. I'm kind of giving up on him. To be just he just doesn't. I don't know. He just doesn't seem to have his head in the game. Literally, because in the Maryland game, he just you would think he would have come prepared and ready to go, and he just didn't look it. And the thing is even if you're the backup quarterback, which at that point he was, um, you got to be prepared to go in case the starting quarterback gets hurt. So
Yeah.
he just I know it wasn't a good position to be in, but you hear the story about backup quarterbacks being ready to go and seizing that moment. Well, I mean, you see quarterbacks like Tom Brady. He didn't think he was getting in when Drew Bledsoe was playing the Jets. He didn't think he was going to play in that game. But guess what? As soon as Bledsoe got hurt, he went in there and led the team to a win and then led the whole team to the Super Bowl. Uh,
Well, I mean,
so you got to
he
be
was
ready.
a wide-eyed, bushy-tailed rookie, young gun, ready to make a name for
No, he wasn't a
himself.
rookie. He was a
I
second
mean, you
year.
can't
He was
really
second year.
compare the goat.
He was a
Like,
second
well,
year.
like I said, youngster. You can't really compare the goat
I
to Peyton Thorne. You
no,
just can't.
I'm just
You
using
can't put
that.
that kind of pressure on Peyton
I'm
Thorne.
using that as an example. How many times has Auburn come into a game and we're just like, man, we got this starting quarterback on lockdown, and then you're just like, all right, he's hurt, he's leaving the game. Hope the guy's good, but here comes the worser quarterback and the more worse quarterback. Great English from me.
Worser.
Yeah. Here comes the backup quarterback, and then all of a sudden he freaking tears it up. Okay, so if those quarterbacks can be prepared,
J.J. Johnson.
if those
He tore it
he
up
did
after Nick Marshall
that
got
that
hurt.
one game. Well, it was the game that Marshall was suspended. He didn't. It wasn't. He wasn't hurt. He was suspended the first game of the
Regardless,
season.
he
Either
freaking
way,
balled
he was
out.
ready. But that's what I'm saying is Holden needed to be ready, and he just has never been. Last 2 years ago when he was a
I
freshman
agree.
and had to get thrown into that Missouri game, I can't blame the kid there because
Yeah, no.
that's nothing. But last year he needed to be ready and he wasn't, and so I'm starting to give up on him. And so can he prove himself? He's got a long way to go. But I think he can. I just don't know if he can. Whereas Hank,
You know,
go ahead.
what I was going to say is like what he could do for me to show me he is ready for QB1 again is if he really truly is a competitor, which I think he has the competitor fight in him. I think Hugh Freeze needs to come out and say, okay, Peyton, you're taking third, fourth string snaps right now
That's not going to
until you can
happen.
prove to me why you deserve to be QB1. I mean, if he really wants the spot, he needs to fight for it in my eyes.
Yeah, I think every fan is kind of
Especially
like
after
that.
especially after every single friggin' boneheaded mistake he made last year.
Yeah,
He needs something needs to happen to where he needs like, oh shit, my job's in jeopardy.
and
Something's got to happen, and if that doesn't happen, he's like, oh, I can just get away with everything and still be QB1.
yeah, yeah. But I don't think Freeze is going to come out and say that about Thorne. But Hank Brown, man, he's got no. I mean, he's got nothing to lose at this point. He's playing with house money,
That's true, man.
and so can he prove it? Yeah, he's already shown us again in limited, very limited size. He's already shown us.
He had nothing to gain from that game either,
But
other than to show that he can ball.
right, and well, and the wide receivers looked more ready for him to play. The receivers looked better when he was in the game. And they were creating separation.
Yeah.
They were running. I don't know what it was, but
Well, I mean, we were playing against walk-ons at that point.
you listen to no, we were still playing against some starters, but you listen to the War Report, and they talk about how the locker room seems to believe in this guy, and that maybe these wide receivers just
Yeah.
they don't think Thorne is the answer, and so they're just going out there and half-assing their route, which they shouldn't. I mean, you know how many wide receivers have been able to make NFL rosters, have been able to get drafted because they weren't going out there half-assing it. I'm sorry. Calvin Johnson came from Georgia Tech, where they were running the
Yep.
ball like, every down. And he caught very few passes. But you better believe he was out there giving it 110%.
Yeah,
And
whatever ball came
everyone
towards him, he was going to catch
and
it.
everyone saw
I
that, and
agree.
and of course his measurables and everything. And again, that's me comparing college athletes to a
To the
goat.
GOAT.
Yeah, again, I get it, but I'm saying all these things are they're in the same realm, they're in the same world. And so we do need to have a quarterback in there that not only proves it to the fans, not only proves it to the coaching staff, but to the other players. And so
I
far, the
agree.
only player that has done that has been Hank Brown.
Yeah, I agree. I can agree with you on that. But, I'm still going to stand with my head coach. It's already said QB1 is QB1,
Right.
and the rest is fighting for a spot.
Yeah. No, I get it. So now, so he sticks with QB1. It comes out to be whoever, you know, he decides. What quarterback is most likely to transfer after the spring? Because we're carrying four quarterbacks. You got to believe that one of them's going to transfer, right? Who do you think
Yeah,
is going to be the
100%.
one?
There's just no question in my mind. It's Holden Garner. If he doesn't get QB1 or even QB2 for that matter, he literally has zero reason to stay in the orange and blue. Like his time on the plains would be 100% over, and he'd be out the door. Which I couldn't blame him. I think he can be a really good quarterback, but he's got to have a shot first. And I mean, he, I can't see any scenario where he stays on the team if he doesn't get in the two deep. Or even if he gets QB2, I can't see any reason why he would stay. I just can't.
You told me in the text that you were going with Peyton Thorne because you thought that he was going to be the one. I have shit written down for
I
Holden.
miss
You asshole. I'm going to pull this up on the
I
fly.
miss I misunderstood the damn text. I'm sorry. I thought you meant like who do you have as being the starter? That's who I thought. That's what I
No,
thought you said, but
no, it was
I
the other
reread
way.
it tonight. I was
Oh
like,
my
oh
God.
shit, Cameron's gonna hate me.
Hey, it's okay. It's
I
okay.
was really hoping you'd let me go first.
Yeah, yeah, well, it paid off for you. I'll be able to take care of this. Yes, no, I think you're right, Josh. I think Holden Gardner is a good option, and he's probably going to transfer if he's not in at least the two deep. I can
Yeah.
agree with you there, but man, again, I keep going back and forth. I'm flirting with this line. I'm going to be the optimist and say what I think 90% of the Auburn fan base is going to say, and hope that someone else other than um, than Thorne is going to win the quarterback battle, and so therefore he is going to take a full advantage of the Supreme Court or the court ruling, and is going to transfer for a second time. He's going to take full advantage of that because I think it's going to be Thorne.
Man,
I think he is not going to put out. I my thing is if it's even close, if you're Hugh Freeze, you gotta go with someone who is unproven. Yeah, okay.
I would agree.
Everyone says that that's not the way to do it, but I want to see what these other guys have got. Give them some game. We know what Thorne's going to be, so if it's
Trial by
close,
fire, dog.
it's going to be close. Go with the upside. Go with the baby goat. Go with the freshman if you have to. I really don't want them because I don't want to ruin them, but go with Holden Garner. Last year, man, I was Holden's biggest fan. Everybody
Same.
was. We all heard
100%.
coming out of the spring. We heard him throwing at pro days, and everyone's like, man, he was out throwing Cam Newton. Well, shit, that's the player I want to see on the field on Saturdays.
Well, he 100% has the strongest arm out of all four quarterbacks from what we've seen.
Yeah.
He's got a friggin' rocket.
So let's go with one of the unproven guys. I think, man, call me an optimist again. And I want Hank Brown to be the one that wins the starting position, and therefore get Thorne out of here. Okay, let's deal with the downside. Let's deal with the problems and mistakes that a inexperienced quarterback is going to have. And I think every fan out there in the country is going to be okay with that. I just don't see us giving Freeze a hard time for not playing Thorn. When we saw him,
I don't think. Sorry, I didn't mean to
no,
cut you
you're
off there. Go
fine.
ahead.
I'll finish this real quick and let you go. uh, we don't want to see the same thing from Thorn. And if it's going to be like that, if it looks like it's going to be like that, then let's let. I mean, let's go with someone else. Hey, but I could be wrong. Sorry, I know I said quickly. I could be wrong. I want these guys to succeed. I want the best quarterback to be out there. But I really
100%. Yeah.
I really think we're gonna have a new starting quarterback come week 1, and therefore
Oh,
Thorn
I
is
mean,
gone.
we very well could. We very well could, but from a, I know for all the fans would like to see Peyton Thorne gone, but seeing it from the other side of the river, from a career trajectory and a business trajectory, I feel like a third or a second transfer for Peyton Thorne would work out as well as for him as it did for
Finley.
TJ Finley going to Texas State. I mean, it's just he transferred from Michigan State. I really don't even know the true reason why he transferred
Yeah.
from Michigan State. Maybe it was because he wanted to prove that he could be the best among stiffer competition, which we all saw what he did. He was not better.
Yeah.
And if he had to leave the stiffer competition to go to a smaller school just to be productive again, from a scouting perspective, there's just I don't see it working
But
out for him.
but if
So
he's if
I don't
he's
see.
if he's gonna not be the starter, why wouldn't he leave? Why wouldn't he just say, "Hey, I'm
I
gonna take this"?
understand that.
He wouldn't be the first high profile quarterback, and he's not really a high profile quarterback, but he's in a high profile program. He wouldn't be the first one to have transferred again. We've seen it from Georgia's quarterback that whenever Stetson Bennett took over for him, he was just like, "All right, I'm out of here," and then transferred, and then he
I get it.
transferred again, and we've
How
seen it.
freaking well did it work out for all those
No,
quarterbacks?
I'm not saying it's going to work out for Thorne, but if
It
you
won't.
believe in yourself, why would you sit there and say, "Oh yeah, I'll
Oh,
stick around and just"?
spare me that bull crap. I believe in myself, so I'm going to go be better at a lower school and get drafted in the seventh
Okay,
round.
but what quarter? Well, he would be drafted because
I guess, yeah.
because he's putting stuff on tape. If he's the backup quarterback and he doesn't see the field, then that dude ain't getting drafted
It just wouldn't make much
unless
business sense for him to transfer again.
unless he is
It
Tom
wouldn't make any
Brady.
sense to me.
Wouldn't be the first
Oh,
time.
shut
Wouldn't be
up.
the first time I've
Shut up.
compared these quarterbacks to Tom Brady because he couldn't even win
You
the.
also were very excited about Mac Jones being drafted to New
I
England.
was, I
How'd that
was.
work out for you?
Uh,
He's a friggin' bum.
Man, let's not even get on that because he's not the biggest problem that offense has.
It's
But
okay. You guys are going to
we're not
draft
gonna talk
Caleb
about.
Williams.
Let's not even talk about the Patriots. Let's not go there. Um, but yeah, I just he's gonna put stuff on tape. I think Thorne's out of here. I think he's gonna give up. I think he's gonna move on, and we're gonna start a new era here on the
I think
Plains.
you're wrong.
So
I think he's starter again for the rest of the year.
it very well could be. Very well could
There's
be.
going to be packages for the other quarterbacks, 110%, but I think he remains starter for
I
Auburn
don't
in
think.
2024.
I don't think
I'm
that.
walking back what I previously said, where I said Walker White takes over midseason. I am walking that back, but I truly think that Peyton Thorne will remain Auburn starter for the full
It might happen.
stint of 2024.
I don't want it to, but it might. It probably will. You're probably right. So
I'm with you though. I want trial by fire, to
yeah,
be honest. Like what we did
that's
with Bo Nix. I love Bo Nix. I hate that he transferred for Auburn, and I think we could get the same thing from Hank Brown or Walker White. Go with the youngins, let them be baptized by fire, and have a good quarterback for the next 2 to 3 years.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it definitely would be. It would be something. But yeah, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough. So
Yeah, we'll see.
speaking of the future on the plains and the future players that we're going to have, we are really starting to get into the thick of the 2025 class, recruiting class. Tell us a little bit about the class that we're starting to see, Josh.
Well, from the words from the man himself, Hugh Freeze, he said that we will all be out of jobs if we're not in the top seven recruiting after year 3. Well, guess what?
I'll be
We
here.
finished number 7 his first full year. Well, yeah, we'll still be here. He won't if he's not. I was saying, but in his first full season of recruiting, where'd we finish? Number friggin' 7.
Yeah.
And for 2025, guess where we're at? Number friggin' 8. In large part to our most recent commitment, 4-star corner out of Buford, Georgia, Devin Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I really wonder who is to credit for that one coming out of Georgia. Kenyatta Watson, dog.
Yeah.
Kenyatta is
Yeah.
100% responsible for that commitment. And I mean, it's been
Who's
pretty quiet
who's
for
the
2025.
who's the primary recruiter for him right now? Did were you able to see
You know
that,
what?
or does it
Let me
list it?
see if I can see that. But
Why? Why?
I didn't really see anything. I mean, let's see if I can go to a different area real
Well,
quick.
while you're looking that
See
up,
if it'll tell me.
I think whether it's if Charles Kelly has anything to do with it, I think that also is going to have a big impact because he's out there coaching the DBs and everything, and so you
Yeah,
got to believe that anybody on the defensive side, Charles Kelly is going to have a hand in their recruitment, whether he's the primary or
it's
not.
100% true. The primary was Wesley McGriff and Charles Kelly,
Okay, yeah.
but you can't tell me that Kenyatta didn't have a part
Oh
to
yeah,
play
of
in this,
course,
dude.
yeah,
You just cannot. Like he was an Alabama lean. He was favored to go to Alabama.
yeah.
He committed Auburn. Obviously, we have a long way to go until early signing day, but it's still a get. A get's a get,
Yeah.
and Alabama's sitting in the 30s.
Yeah, yeah, we talked about it last week about how important Georgia
Yeah.
was going to be in, and
Oh yeah, it's huge.
he was gonna be a big reason why we were able to recruit so well. So
Yeah, 100%. And in fact, our 2 commits for 2024 so far for the 25 class
hmm
have been from the state of Georgia. Like the first to pull this year was another tight end out of Georgia behind Ryan Gee. It was Hollis Davidson, and
okay,
he's listed a 3-star on like several websites, but Rivals has him as a 4-star. But he's like the
man,
ninth best tight end in the class
man,
or something like that.
Hugh
It might be Georgia, the player in Georgia. I don't know, but
Hugh
it's still a
Freeze,
big get.
he is not afraid to bring in a lot of tight ends, is he?
No, I mean no one should
Just
be.
that room is stacked, man.
I love it. I love a
Yeah,
stacked tight end
yeah,
room,
yeah.
dude. Like Hollis Davidson can also friggin' block. That's huge in my book.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. So,
Yeah, but other than that, it's not like it's pretty quiet on the recruiting
hmm
front this early in the year. But it's Hugh Freeze isn't going to slow down. I wouldn't expect him to slow down.
yeah,
I mean,
I
he's going to be recruiting with the best of everyone. He's just going to be recruiting with the best.
okay.
There's no question about that.
Yeah, I remember last year around the springtime, the spring practices, we started hearing, Walker White showing up to practice and being out there, and so I would imagine we're gonna start hearing some names really pop up on the scene and
Yeah,
really come to the front of everyone's attention because I know by the summer last year, me and you were both just we were we were deep in that recruiting cycle and just really paying attention to everything that was going on. So, well,
well, it was like week after week one was
yeah,
popping.
it
It was
was.
just so exciting to
So
watch.
we need some more. We need some more of that for sure. So,
100%.
um, moving on from football, we're gonna go ahead and talk about some basketball. It's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag of what's going on in Auburn basketball world. The first thing I want to talk to you about, Josh, is did you see that Bruce Pearl is once again getting brought up in the coaching searches out there? Um,
I did.
and
I
was being
did.
mentioned in that. What are your thoughts? Do we have something to be worried about Bruce Pearl jetting away?
Hell no, bro. Miss me with all these friggin' rumors. Bruce Pearl is on record stating that he wants Auburn to be his forever home. He doesn't want to leave Auburn. He's built something special
Yeah.
in Auburn. I mean, every year Auburn competes, dude. Every single year. Obviously, he was disgraced in Tennessee for super minute reasons,
hmm
and people blow that way out of proportion
Especially in
unjustly.
the world of NIL now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's built something so
Yeah.
huge, so deep, and actually built a blue blood out of literally nothing. Tony Barbie did nothing for Auburn, and Bruce Pearl came in and just made everything out of Auburn. And so, I
So,
mean,
so you're a
I
blue
don't
blood
care.
believer then? You think he's made us a
A
blue
hundred,
blood?
absolutely, dude. Are you kidding me? Absolutely. And there's no team out there I think he would leave Auburn for. I just don't think so.
Okay.
Especially for friggin' Indiana. No
Oh,
way.
wait, I haven't heard that he's involved for Indiana. I just heard Louisville and Ohio State is what I heard. And
No.
for those of
Nate Goetz
you
is going to Ohio State.
for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, there was a article on CBS's Court Report by here. I'm gonna name this full Matt Norlander, just so that way everybody can send him some nice hateful tweets telling him to stay away from
We
our coach.
don't encourage doxing, Cameron.
But he asked Pearl straight up. He said, "Would you consider an offer from an Ohio State, Louisville, or anyone else in that top 20 range?" Pearl responded with, "I've liked every place I've been. I've never liked any place I've been more than Auburn. I've liked
Yeah.
everywhere. This is the best I've ever been." Okay. He goes, Pearl continued and said, the school's family atmosphere is real, and that the community around Auburn has made this his most fulfilling job. This would be a really, really hard place to leave. And that last statement there, Josh, has me absolutely terrified because
Why?
he said it right there. He said this would be a really, really hard place to leave. He doesn't say, I'm not leaving Auburn, or I will not leave Auburn, or I am here at Auburn to stay. He said it would be really, really hard. Well, guess what else would be really, really hard? A lot of things. Like nothing comes to mind off the
Well,
top of my
Cameron,
head.
let's think of it this way. If a school isn't going to offer him Jerusalem as part of his contract, he's not leaving Auburn. Auburn revived his career. He owes everything to, I'm not saying, okay, I shouldn't say he owes everything to Auburn because he doesn't. He really doesn't owe anything to Auburn. He could leave whenever he wants, but I don't see it happening literally anytime friggin' soon. There's just no way.
Yeah.
No way. He's there for at least another 10 years.
Well, hopefully, because Auburn has won more games than any SEC school in the past 8 seasons, edging out Tennessee, even when the with the loss this week. And also, he has never been at a school longer than he has at Auburn. This is the longest tenure he's had.
That should speak volumes to you, Cameron, more than that last statement in that article.
I know, but
That should speak volumes.
I again, Brandon said it a few episodes ago. I keep flirting back and forth with the optimist and pessimist, but my true self is a pessimist, and I'm just like, no, coach, don't leave us. We need you.
Oh, you stay out of my messages with that pessimism. I can't deal with it. You're too much during the Clemson game. You're being too much now.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yes. Uh, well, speaking of what Coach Pearl has done for us and what he has helped us build here at Auburn, we got one hell of a comeback game and bounce back game after the thumping we took against Kentucky, and we got to play Georgia and showed them why they are still bottom feeders in the SEC.
Yeah, Kirby Smart couldn't save your basketball team. That's for damn
Yeah,
sure.
no, he's not a basketball coach.
Mainly because he's a football coach. Yeah.
Well, there was that. What isn't there? Wasn't there a Georgia football coach that was also their basketball coach, or he was their
I couldn't tell
basketball
you. I don't know
coach?
shit about Georgia.
He was their basketball coach and then went on to be their football coach. That's a legit thing, and it's one of their best coaches. I can't remember who it is though, but yeah,
I couldn't be really that good.
I don't know.
Georgia hasn't historically been a good program,
Yeah, they have.
other than recent years.
Well, I'm not talking
no.
about basketball. I'm talking about football. He was a good, yeah. Either way, well, we took them down a peg. We ended up beating them.
It took him down 2 pegs
What are
on their own court.
yeah, yeah, it was on their own
Yeah, we
court.
laid the damn
It
lumber.
took me a while to remember that. I was like, was it on their own court? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Yep. You're right. I just remember hearing so many Auburn fans, and so it was hard to realize that they
Auburn does
were,
travel very well.
especially when it's just right around the corner there in Georgia.
Yeah, right.
So, what's some good coming out of that game, Josh?
Man, everything good. Obviously, like my one bad is we turned it over more than Georgia, which sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I hate turning it over more than the other team, but we had one player set career records, another player get back on track to being the shooter we know he is, and we had a team come back after a thumping by Kentucky to put a thumping on Georgia, an SEC rival. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of good to take from this game, but none other, none bigger than Chad Bacon Lasagna setting career highs in his first career
Yeah.
start for Auburn. I mean, that guy is. I'm obsessed with the guy. I love watching him. I love seeing number 10 on the court. I love seeing
Yeah.
him in the orange and blue. I mean, he just he showed everybody why he's probably in conversation for sixth man of the year.
I really think he is. I that was something that I was going to bring up because he is just a spark plug for this bench and
He
is
really friggin'
and
is.
is a big reason why we score 35 points off the bench. And so it's going to be interesting to see if we just throw him in the starting lineup and just go from here because it has. I feel like it's changed the first team completely. But yeah, I mean, you've reached out to Chad Baker Lazara,
I did.
and you've heard back from him, and you guys get along quite a bit. He likes your videos that you keep making of
He's
him.
always retreating me, so I must be doing something right.
Right, right. And he just, I didn't even put him down as a good because I knew you'd hit this, and I knew we'd talk about him no matter what because I didn't.
No
He
matter
just,
what, he's
oh,
always gonna be in our friggin'
yeah,
videos.
yeah, he just kills it, man. He's just such a fun player. And the thing is I really don't think we're gonna lose him after the year. I don't think he's gonna go pro. I think we're gonna be able to hold on to him, and we're gonna get another year
He
of this
might get
guy.
some flirtations, but
Yeah,
I really do hope he would come back to
yeah.
Auburn. I really hope Janai Broom comes back to Auburn. I don't think he
No,
will.
no,
I'd really love it, but
it ain't
I really do
happening.
think I think we get Chad Baker back. I'm very confident that we get Aiden Holloway back.
Yeah,
I mean, I, I think we get most of the team back next year, obviously, except for the guys with high draft profiles and our seniors. But yeah,
yeah.
he's like you said, a spark plug off the bench, especially when he's paired with KD Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
It's just electric,
Yeah.
electric.
So, but speaking of Aiden Holloway, he was definitely my good. We talked about him quite a bit in our
Yeah,
podcast about him needing to step up, and man, hopefully he found some mojo. He wasn't able to string in back to back good games. But we had the great game against Georgia, and it looked like he was out there having fun and really feeling his shot. And
big confidence booster for
I
him.
mean, he shot 50% from the field, and so we need some more Aiden Holloway. That's for sure. I mean, that's what we need.
110%.
Come tournament time, come playoff time. This is we need guard play, and so I loved what I saw from him, and he was definitely at the top of my good list. My bad, man, free throws. I'm just gonna say it again. It's just I feel like I'm talking about this every week. They are
Well,
free.
I know
And
it's a thing week in and week out. It's hard.
it's the same problem
I
the
don't
team
get it.
had last year. When was the last time we had a good free throw shooting team? I mean, give Bruce all the credit in the world, but he is. There's
It'd be
just,
Bryce Brown and Jared Harper for
I
sure.
guess, but man, it is. I mean, we shot 68.8% in this game at the free throw line,
Yeah, but
man.
that number looks a little skewed because we only shot 16, made 11. It's So if you look at it from that perspective, 11 to 16 doesn't look as bad as 66%. It just
No,
doesn't,
I said
in my
68. You're,
opinion.
you're cutting you're cutting 2% off of that. They shot
Oh, sorry, I
68.
don't have my glasses on. I can't see
Yeah,
that.
I mean, yeah, when you hear 11 for 16, it sounds better than the percentage, but the percentage is still a legit number. And we should
Yeah,
be I don't care if you are a Division 1 basketball player and you are not a big lumbering center. Okay, centers are like the exception to this rule. You should be shooting 75% or better from the free throw line. That's I mean, now I will admit fully, I don't think LeBron is even a 75% shooter from the free throw. Maybe he is now later in his career, but I know in the beginning of his
he's like a
career he wasn't.
72% career.
He's what?
I think he's like a 72%
Yeah. So
career. I
so
don't
so I
know.
get
I don't
that.
know his stats since he left Cleveland.
I get that. But you just gotta make those free throws, man. Because come tournament time, it is guard play and it is free throws down the stretch, make or break
Yep,
games. And us shooting
agreed.
68% is not going to cut it come tournament time. So,
No, because free throws, like you said, can literally make or break a game. It can come down to a 1 point game, and you missed three free throws earlier, like in 3 minutes with left in the game. I mean, that wins you the game.
yeah,
So that definitely needs to be an emphasis in practice, in my opinion.
right. So, what's you have another good?
I mean, the
If you don't, I have.
minute dispersal between the players. I think Bruce Pearl really utilized his entire team the best he has all year.
Yeah.
Only one player finished with single digit minutes, and that was Chris Moore. I
Which,
mean, everyone else
yeah,
had, was it 15 plus or 12 plus? And I think that's the best he's utilized his starters and bench all season.
yeah. Um, I am continuing to jump on the Cheney Johnson bandwagon. I've been
The dude is blossoming.
I've been talking him up since the Florida game. Nobody talked about his contributions in the Florida game except for me, um, or at least from what I heard. Maybe I missed some stuff. Since then, they've talked about him and they've given him some props.
Yeah.
But even in the Kentucky game, he didn't have a great game, but he was okay. He did some things in this game. He just did a little bit of everything. You look at his stat lines, and he's got stuff all over the place. But he was huge for filling in for Jalen Williams. Huge.
Huge. Friggin' huge.
And outside of
Couldn't
Jack
have
Baker
asked for a better game.
Lazara, he was. I almost said
Mazzara.
lasagna. I did. I know. It's a freaking Zach Blackerby, man. He was a big part of the offense, and so I absolutely love this guy, and we need him to continue to get better because he's going to be
Yeah,
a
what better time for a player to blossom like that
yeah,
than late in March or late in
yeah,
February?
exactly.
Seriously.
No, I agree. I agree. And then I also put down that we had four players, like you were stating. Um, Bruce was using the whole bench and really just making everybody was just making their shots. We had four players in double digits,
Yep.
and
Huge.
having Jalen Williams out, that really probably helped our team and especially our backup players in them realizing they had to step up. And so it's comforting to know that they got that within them. That they can pull that out of their bag.
Oh yeah.
And so the Georgia game was fun because, I mean, you look up, there's 8 minutes left in the second half, and it's a single digit game. And then all of a sudden, 3 minutes later, we are up by 17 and just have our foot on their throats. And so the team really, really, really closed the game out really strong. And I don't know if I said enough reallys there, but they did. And I can't be happier with the way that they closed out because, I mean, at one point I was just like, man, we are letting them stick around. We were letting them stick around, and this is just
And we
going.
didn't let that stay for too
No, we
long.
didn't. No, we didn't. And they really, really, really turned it up. I was happy with it. Yeah,
Really?
really.
it
So, well,
was a good comeback game for sure.
I'm gonna keep the positivity because we're going into the Tennessee game. Last week I said I don't have a good feeling about it. I don't think it. I said last week that I didn't think it was going to be a boat race. I didn't think we were going to get blown out or nothing. I thought it was going to be a close game. You mentioned he who shall remain nameless, he who can't be named, Lord Voldemort himself. Um, you mentioned his name, but you know, I felt coming out of this Tennessee game, I felt pretty good. I feel like, yeah, we lost, and I'm not a huge moral victory guy myself, but if
Yeah.
that's on a neutral floor or at Neville Arena, you got to feel good about our chances and thinking that we have a higher chance of winning. And so, I'm okay with the way that the team performed. Early on in the game, I texted you because you were having to work, but I texted you and I was like,
Yeah.
man, another slow start. But in reality, I mean, we started 2 for 3 and then we got a little cold. And then, I sat there and I'm watching the game and I'm just like, man, we just can't do anything against Tennessee, and they're scoring a lot. And then all of a sudden, I look down at the score, and we're down by like 3 or 4. We're still within striking distance. I was like, oh, okay, but all in all, it was the hardest of our remaining games, and they're the number 4
But I
team in the
think it was
country.
our best road game of the season.
I
Our most competitive road game of the season,
Okay,
I
I was about to
think.
say Arkansas was
Especially against a
fun.
top 5 team. Oh yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
But against real competition, I mean,
yeah,
because Arkansas ain't shit, everyone knows it. But it was definitely our most competitive road game. But when you got a player that is making over 50% of his 21 shots taken on the floor, there's nothing you can friggin' do. Which, by
yeah.
the way, Tennessee only had one other player shoot at least 10 shots.
Jeez,
And
and
that was the center, a dude that
yeah,
fouled out.
yeah.
Everyone else had 8 or
he
less
he
shots.
was
Everything
killing
was
us.
Dalton Connect.
He was killing us in the first half. Adu, but
He was killing us all friggin'. Oh, I do, yeah.
for
I
those
thought you were
of
talking about
you
Connect.
that
Sorry.
don't know who we were talking about on the Tennessee side, you can probably connect the dots and know that we're talking about Dalton Connect.
Boo.
Boom, dude, you got to
He's
tip your
hands
hat.
down the best player in the country.
Yeah,
He's hands down.
yeah.
He is. I hate saying it, but he was super friggin' fun to watch. He reminds me of Luka Doncic. You can't do anything to stop the guy.
Okay.
You really can't. They play the same position. They play the same roles. His game is just super similar to Luka Doncic,
Man,
and he's just fun to friggin' watch. I'm like, and you couldn't have played better defense on him on those deep threes he was
yeah,
taking. There were a couple of times where he pushed off on Chad Baker, Mazzara, but they weren't called, so I'm not going to harp on it.
yeah.
The fouls were pretty even across the board. I'm not really going to blame the refs or anything. There was 63 fouls called in the game. Both teams had over 20, 30 fouls on them, I think.
Yeah, there was a lot of fouls, but it was a defensive
They
game.
shot 35 free throws. We shot 28.
Yeah.
Still, like, there was a lot of fouls called on everybody. Defensive game. They were letting them play for the most part.
Well,
There were some ticky-tacky crap.
more so in the first half. In the first half, they were letting them play a lot more than they were in the second half. They got a little whistle happy in the second
Yeah,
half, I
that's true.
thought.
But
But
I'm not too heartbroken about the loss. It's a top 5
yeah,
team. We only lost by, what was it? 8. Yeah, 8
yeah.
points on the road in a hostile environment against Bruce Pearl's old team. Would love their win for that reason,
Yeah.
but
I mean, you
can't be
pointed
mad at it.
it out and you said it. It was the best road game we've had outside of a
Yeah,
blowout against Arkansas. I mean, we shot 40.9% from behind the arc. If you told me that going into the
yep.
game, I'm feeling really, really good because Tennessee is not an easy team to score on. And so,
They're really not.
I thought we played really well. The players were composed. Nobody lost their cool. I think the technical foul they called on was it Janai that they called the technical foul on? I can't remember. But I thought that
Yeah,
was kind of BS. But man, again, Dalton Connect, man. When you have
friggin' beast.
when you have more than a third of the team's points, you just got to tip your hat to the guy and say, "Well done. I guess there's nothing we can do about that." And kind of move on and just hope that if we see him again, he's not able to do it again. So,
Yeah, screw that guy.
but I mean,
But take
40.9%.
solace in this, though,
Yeah.
Cameron. Take solace in this. They beat Alabama by 20 points
Hmm.
in the same arena.
Okay. Don't let's okay. Let's not do this transit property thing, because the last time we did
No, I don't
transit
care. I'll always
property,
take a chance to dick on
I
Alabama.
get that.
Always.
I get that. But the last time we did transit property, you were talking about how South Carolina beat Kentucky by
Oh, don't
15,
blow that
and
in my
then we beat.
face.
Yeah. Oh no, I definitely did.
Don't blow that in my
I'm
face, you
bringing it
jerk.
up. I'm bringing it up because you said it last episode, my man. And so, so
Was it? It was last episode.
yeah, yeah. And
You
so,
know what? Kick rocks, Cameron. You can't throw back my face. That was an episode ago. We're on today's episode.
was it last time? Yeah, it had to have been. Either way,
No, wait. I
it
think you're
was
right,
two
man.
episodes ago. Either way, it was a previous episode. I'm gonna throw it in your face.
Regardless, we're talking about the past
Yeah,
here. Get over
yeah.
it.
Well, exactly. Get over it. Transit property. Either way, we played them really tough. Had 10 steals on Tennessee. Love to see that. Was very happy to see
Yeah,
that. Um,
they only had 6.
yep. Let's see here. So the bad is also that we let them shoot 52.9% from behind the arc. You're gonna lose a lot of games if you let the opposing team score that and
You
shoot
ain't kidding.
shoot that well. We now we turned them over 10 times, and or had 10 steals against them. Did you happen to catch how many times we turned the ball over?
I think I have that right here actually.
Hmm. It's 16 turnovers led to 18
Yeah, we turned it up
points.
16 times. Yeah.
So again, I know that
Yep. It's hard to win games that way.
they're a tough defensive team, but those turnovers were primarily in the first half, and they were bad. Okay, I think everybody by now knows that we are Chad Baker Mazzara fans. But
Yes.
my man, please
Yeah, he had
just
4 turnovers.
just
Quit with the
stop
behind the back
the
passes,
behind the back.
please.
He did two against Kentucky,
Yeah, it looks
lost both,
cool.
and
It
did
looks cool when he connects, but good God,
stop saying connect. I'm
please.
having flashbacks of this guy hitting threes.
I did say connect, but I didn't say connect. I said
Oh
connect.
my gosh! But yeah,
They're
so
2 different words.
eh,
Connect
I
and
know,
connect.
close enough. But yeah, so I'm just like, I love the guy and he is huge for our team. But let's go for the easy pass. Let's go for the pass that's going to lead to points. Let's not go for the one that's going to end
Yeah,
up on your freaking highlight reel, because that's who he's
on
trying to
ESPN's
that's who
Come
he's
On
trying
Man
to
reel.
impress there, Josh, is you. Okay? And so I'm sick and tired of it.
Hey, he can
Cut
do
the
that all he
shit.
wants.
Cut the shit, Josh.
Don't listen to him, Chad. We love you, dog.
We
Don't
do.
listen to
We
him.
do.
He's a Debbie Downer. He's a Debbie
Yeah,
Downer.
I am.
He's a jerk.
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. So real quick, because we're running up against the time. How far can this Auburn team go in both tournaments? Not just the SEC tournament, but the March Madness tournament. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I don't. I really don't know how far they can go in either tournament. I know they're
Mhm.
going to make each game competitive. I think they've learned in their losses and they've learned in their victories. Um, but in reality, the SEC tournament doesn't really mean jack crap because at the end of it, it goes to the team with the best overall record, regardless of who wins the actual
Yeah.
tournament. So, I mean, Auburn needs to win out in their remaining regular season schedule,
To even
and
have a
they got to hope
chance.
for a couple of losses. So I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not gonna. We've all seen what happens when I go into predictions. I've always hated going into predictions, but I thought I'd take a flyer in it again. But I'm not gonna sit here and predict anything because I'm I
Well,
don't want any bad juju going towards our team.
I'm not going to predict anything, but I'm going to say what this team could possibly do and what their ceiling is. Their ceiling, I think, is winning the SEC tournament. Obviously, I think we showed it against Kentucky. Or I'm sorry, we showed it against Alabama both times this year. We
We
showed
did
it
it.
against Tennessee. We have that ability to win the SEC tournament. I don't think we will. Bruce Pearl doesn't do great in the SEC tournament. Outside of 2019, we've won one game in the SEC tournament, and so it's not something that I'm going to expect. If we win a couple games, great. If we make it to the final, great. But at the same time, I'm kind of okay with some rest, especially with Jalen Williams. We want him to be as rested as we can leading into the NCAA tournament. NCAA tournament, I think we can make a Sweet 16. I think we have that ability. I think we have a deep enough team to do that. But it really just depends on what team shows up in the first half.
Yeah, our matchups.
Yeah,
I really don't want another round of 32
no,
exit. I really,
no,
really don't. I want to go further. Again, I'm not going to get into predictions, but I know that no matter who they play, whatever game they're playing in a neutral court, they're going to make every game as
yeah,
competitive as it can possibly
yep,
be it a blowout by Auburn or a 2 point loss from Auburn or by Auburn. I think it's going to be competitive no matter what. Because like you said, their ceiling is there's not even really a ceiling because every the talent is through the roof. It's just whatever team we get that day, whatever Aiden Holloway we get that day, or whatever Janai Broom we get that day.
yeah,
Who knows?
yeah.
I don't want another Chuma Okiki incident in the Sweet 16. Don't want it. I just want everyone to stay healthy and competitive. That's
Yeah.
all I can hope for.
Oh, real quick, I feel remorse if I don't bring it up. I know we're backtracking a little bit here, but Janai Broom in the Tennessee game was masterful. He put on a
Yes.
masterclass on how to play the game, and I loved what I saw
An
from him.
absolute
Yeah,
menace.
yeah, he was a monster. So, well, since you don't want to make a prediction, we have 3 games left on the year in the regular season. We're playing Mississippi State, going to get some revenge there. At Missouri, worst team in the conference, and then against Georgia,
Yes.
this time at Auburn, not at Georgia. Are we going to lose any of these games? Is this a possibility?
Man, it's obviously it's always a possibility to lose games, but I think aren't all three of them at home?
No, no,
Or
we go
we're
to
at Missouri,
Missouri.
huh?
Yeah, but it's
Yeah, we're
Missouri.
at Missouri, but they haven't won a single SEC game this year, and they're on one hell of a losing streak right now.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, they did take South Carolina to overtime, and I don't.
I'm a
Again, I'm
little
not going to make any predictions,
I'm
but
I'm a, I'm a little worried about Mississippi State, just because of how they treated us in the first. But I'm hoping by me saying that the team is gonna reverse jinx and take care of business. Josh, I want a prediction out of you. What's our record at the end
for
of
what
these for
game?
these three? What's our record?
In all honesty, I think we go 3-0 these games. They only
Oh,
beat
you
us
just
by
had to
what was it,
jinx it, didn't you?
five,
You just jinxed it.
6 points in the first game. You shut up. You wanted it,
Yeah, I did.
but in all reality, we should win all three of the games. We got Mississippi State and Georgia at home, both Bulldog teams at home.
Yeah.
We got the worst team in the SEC on the road. I mean, I don't. I just
It's
we have
hard.
one home loss this
It's
season.
hard. It's hard to not say that they're gonna go 3-0. So
Yeah, it is hard to say that they're not. They have the easiest remaining schedule out of all the SEC title
yeah,
contenders.
we've already ran the gauntlet.
Yeah.
So okay, well, Josh, I think that's gonna do us for tonight. Until next week, make sure you subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified of all of Josh's Chad Baker
Share the
Mazzara
mess out of us.
highlight videos because he just is addicted to them. And
Very much so.
and be on the lookout for more content from us guys. War Eagle
War
Josh.
Eagle. See you next time.
That was late.
I'm a little slow. You dropped me on my head when I was a kid.